So I've opened up song snippets and the song snippet CSS, and we're going to take a look at the current formatting, and then we are going to be applying Flexbox to this. So this is our current formatting. And if we take a look, we can see we have an article section. And inside article, we have several section elements. And then below article, we have an additional section. And article has an ID of parent. So those are all things that we need to kind of take note of. And if we look here, we have the same styling for heading 1 and heading 2. We've got a font applied, a lovely kind of dark blue color, a lemon chiffon text shadow, and then we have a border around our heading, and you can see that border here. And you can kind of see that lemon chiffon shadow behind the text, kind of faint. And you can also see the padding that we have up here in the header as well. For our parent element, this was the ID that we added to article. You can see that we have the blue background, and we also have padding so that all of our sections that are inside aren't right up against the edge. And then all of the sections, whether they're in article or not, have a border, a background color, and a width of 300 pixels, and then there's a little padding. And you can see that is affecting all of the sections that are inside article, and also the section below article. And the first thing that we're going to adjust here is we don't want this section below article to have this formatting. So we want all of the sections inside formatted, but we don't want this one. And we can actually fix this using a CSS Combinator. There's two that would work. And we could either do article space section, which means all of the sections inside article should be formatted this way. And that would work. With the way that our HTML is set up, we have article here, and we have the opening and closing sections inside. That would work perfectly. It would be a problem if we had a scenario like this. If we had additional nested sections. Okay, if we had something like this with an additional nested section, that combinator is not going to work. If I can spell section right. Okay. That combinator is not going to work in a scenario like this because we have a section inside a section. And we probably would not want the formatting applied to this. Okay, so in a scenario where you have nested sections like that, this combinator is not a good choice. The one that you would want to use is this one. And this one says only apply the formatting to a direct child. That means a first level child. So this is a first level child. This is not. This is like a grandchild, okay? This is a first level child. So if you have a scenario where you have nested sections, you would have to use this combinator. in our code, we can use either one. If you think the file will change in the future and you may have nested sections, then you might want to go with this option. If you know that it's never going to change and you're never going to have nested sections, it does not matter which one you pick. Okay, you can do either one. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to reload, and you should immediately notice that the problem that we had on the section that was below article is now fixed. We still need to convert this into a Flexbox because right now it is not, and that involves changing our CSS. So we're going to take this parent ID and we're going to tell it display flex, and that makes it a flexible container. Colon. Okay, now it's happy. Then for the article section, we're going to make this a Flexbox. And I'm also going to set a maximum width on it because remember, Flexbox likes to adjust our widths. And I'm going to set a minimum width. And I'm going to save this. And let's reload. And then I'm going to do a couple additional settings for my container. So I do want to allow for wrapping items. So I'm going to turn Flex Wrap on and say I want them to wrap. And then if they do wrap, if there's spaces on a line, I want it spaced evenly. So that puts even spaces between my boxes. And finally, I always want my items to stretch. I think that looks best. It's my own personal preference. We'll save that. And let me resize here. Okay, and if you get more than one on a line like this, you should notice they're evenly spaced because we did turn that on. You should also notice that we've got wrapping going on. And the biggest that any of these boxes is going to be is 400, and the smallest is 250. And all of those settings go up in the parent because they are affecting all of the boxes. Now, there are some individual settings that you can apply as inline styles to individual boxes. And that is what we're going to do next. And the reason I say you would do them as inline styles is you probably don't want to do them down here because you would be changing all of them, and you really only want to change a single box with these settings. Okay, so we can change settings at the parent level and at the individual item level. So for the individual items, what we're going to do is change the order so that Bridge Over Troubled Water displays first. Right now it's displaying last. So we're going to come down here into our section for Bridge Over Troubled Water. And we're going to put an inline style. And the property is order. And we're going to set it as -1. So the negative numbers display first. And let's save that and reload. Okay, so now Bridge Over Troubled Water is first. And then if we want a couple of these sections to get bigger or to allow them to be bigger, we can add some inline styles to those as well. So we are going to allow Kodachrome to be bigger and the boxer. So in the section for Kodachrome, we're going to add an inline style. And we're going to say flex grow. And we will allow that to get up to 3 times bigger. And we're going to do the same exact thing for the boxer. So if you want to copy and paste, you can. And let's save and reload. Okay, and so if we resize this, you should notice Kodachrome and the boxer are bigger, but keep in mind this is all kind of relative sizing. So if it says, if we say grow, flex grow 3, it's not a literal 3 times. Okay, it's just saying that make it bigger. And you can kind of see that here. Kodachrome is bigger than Bridge Over Troubled Water and I Am a Rock. Is it 3 times bigger? I'm not sure. Okay, and Boxer certainly doesn't look 3 times bigger than America, but that is kind of the idea. It's not an exact science when you are dealing with Flexbox. Now we're going to make one more adjustment, and this isn't really a Flexbox adjustment. This is just a styling adjustment that you can apply to boxes. So let's go over to our CSS. And these are actually CSS3 commands, but I think they look really nice. So we are going to use them early. So we're going to apply box shadow. And this is like a text shadow, but it's applied to a box or to, a rectangle. So we're going to do 2 pixel, 2 pixel, and black. And then we're going to round off the corners using border radius. And saving that, and let's reload. And you can see how that looks. And the nice thing about Flexbox is that it is easy to use and it is mobile friendly. It's always going to look good on a mobile device, so you don't really have to worry about adding a bunch of code to make it look good. Okay, so at this point, we are done and you want to save all your changes.